Chances are you're not using ChatGPT or other large language models properly, and that's for one reason. You haven't mastered putting together prompts that really get the most out of ChatGPT. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to improve the quality on your responses using a simple formula that I use for production all the time. Plus, at the end of the video, I'm going to include a bonus prompt that's copy and paste and will radically improve your performance. I'm AI Adam. Subscribe and like if you like this kind of video. Let's jump in. So I'm here in ChatGPT and I'm going to walk you through the exact structure that I use to put together prompts either for production in automation using things like Make or just in ChatGPT or using other large language models. Now I always use roughly the exact same setup and structure, and this is really flexible, but it tends to get you the best results. So hopefully you'll learn something from this. Now here's the structure that I like to use. I am going to start at the beginning and then we'll go through, then we'll take a look at the example. So first we have act as. So this is where I tell the ChatGPT or large language model what it is supposed to act as when it is considering the prompt. So in this case, I'm using act as a copywriting expert with 20 years of experience writing sales copy. After I have that, I then give it some context. So this is the context in which it should operate. So in this case, the context is I am running a business that sells supplements for brain health online called Stack Health. So that gives them the context around the business and what it is actually doing. After that, I can define the task. And the task also comes with the optional steps, but I found that steps tend to make the returns a lot better. So I always tend to have these steps added in, but this is an optional step. But the task and the steps really just define what it is actually supposed to be doing given what it's acting as and the context. So here I have your task is to write an email sales letter for a new supplement called ashwagandha that has many benefits. And after that, I define the steps that it should take to complete this task. So here I have my 3 steps and I've defined them so it does research, so conduct extensive research on the benefits of the substance, determine the ideal target audience for the supplement along with pain points and buyer concerns, and then write and return a highly engaging, persuasive email sales letter for this supplement from the brand using what you've learned from steps 1 and 2. So while I've defined the task as email sales letter writing, I've also asked it to conduct extensive research and look at the target audience before it does that so it can take what it's learned and put it together in the sales letter. Finally, I ask it to return a highly engaging clickbaity title for the email because I also want that for the subject. After that, I've defined the task and now I define the parameters. So what I actually want it to obey within this specific prompt. So this is where you define things like the length or anything it should or should not include in its response. Parameters are things like the sales letter should not exceed 1,000 characters. Your response should only include the sales letter with no other text, and things like the tone of the letter. So in this case, I want it to be friendly and straightforward and relatable. Finally, I include an example. Now, there have been a few different studies on the quality of the returns for ChatGPT and the other LLMs, and in almost all of them, adding an example of your ideal return drastically improves the quality of what you actually get back. Now, you only really need to add 1 example, but they've done tests up to 32 examples, and it always improves, but the first one has the largest statistical difference. So I always try to add at least 1 example of what I'm looking for in terms of the return that I want from the prompt. So in this case, I have here's an example of a highly successful sales letter. Learn from the aspects and structure of this letter, and I have a sales letter which is for an online service around investment strategy. So this is a very successful sales letter that worked really well when it was launched. So I'm really just asking it to learn from how this is put together, take different aspects and incorporate it into what I am trying to generate. So this is the full structure of how I try to generate this. Of course, you have a lot of flexibility. You can ask it to act as a prompt generator for an image creation tool. You can give it all sorts of different contexts, but I would highly recommend that you include examples to get the best quality. So we can take this whole prompt and let's go ahead and run that and see what it comes up with. So I have just added all of that in. And before I ever do any kind of launch in automation or anything like that, I always go through a few different iterations and make sure that I get consistent performance. And here we have our sales letter. So under 1,000 characters, we have a call to action, which it probably picked up from the example. And we have a lot of the different concerns and challenges that our target audience would have. So we can play around with this. It also added in our Stack Health team as well. And this is really the general structure that you should be putting together your prompts with. Now, I've walked you through the production quality prompt that I usually put together with the step-by-steps to create very specific high quality returns from ChatGPT or other LLMs. But if you're not trying to do this production quality automations and come up with these really extensive prompts, I have another one for you. And this also gets really high quality results, but it's a copy and paste version, which tends to work really well. So hopefully you'll get some value out of this as well. It's not going to provide a production quality return like you can use in automation using Make or Zapier, but if you're using ChatGPT day to day, this will work really well for you. So this is called the 3 experts prompt, and it's a copy and paste prompt that you can use over and over again. Let me walk you through it. So it says, I will provide a topic, and your task is to follow the steps as outlined below. Select and act as 3 different experts having a discussion about the provided topic. So I'm asking ChatGPT or an LLM to find different perspectives and use those when considering the topic. Each expert should have different backgrounds in relevant field. Have these experts discuss the pros and cons of the specific question or problem, considering different approaches and practical implications. So I'm having it take different perspectives and then argue with itself around it. And then finally, make sure they engage with each other's points and work towards a practical conclusion. Finally, provide a solution to the answer or topic or question, taking into account the expert point. So this really helps ChatGPT use a little more logic in its answers and really refines down the quality of your responses. So in this case, I'm going to say, look at the topic of best supplements for men's health, and we can take a look at the response here. And you can see it is selecting some different experts. So each of these experts have different backgrounds. And we can see that each of these are engaging in a discussion with each other. And once they've engaged in that discussion, ChatGPT will take that and it will put it all together into a single response. So here we have the entirety of the response, and you can see that it does a really good job in putting together a pretty holistic and all-encompassing response using 3 expert opinions. I hope you learned something in this video. Like and subscribe for more like this.